Okay, before I start, I have some acknowledgements to make. I've got to give a shout out to my family, who never stop believing in me. And I would like the staff of the Adult Success Center to please stand. I want to acknowledge you. Please stand up. I've been watching these guys the last few years, and they are awesome. They help make dreams come true. They're the reason I'm standing here today. They are my heroes. Give another hand. I tried really hard not to be noticed. I keep my head down, I don't talk much, and I thought I was doing a good job of it, until I got a phone call from Connie asking me if I would speak at graduation. She's not an easy person to say no to. She's like a puppy with big, sad eyes that knows how to dish out compliments. Heavy and thick. So here I am. I have some quotes I want to share with you. The first comes from one of my aunt's fridge magnets. It says, "What would you attempt today if you knew you could not fail?" The second is a meme I found on Pinterest that says, "Don't judge a book by its cover. My math textbook had a picture of someone enjoying themselves on it. I did not enjoy myself at all." The last quote doesn't really have anything to do with my speech. I just really don't like math, and I'd like to get that out there. My name is Anna, and this is my story. I was born with one of the most potentially destructive types of learning disabilities, the hidden kind. For those not familiar with these disabilities, with an obvious disability you can say, "Hey, there's something wrong here. It has a name. We can do something about it." With a hidden disability, a child can't do what's expected of them, and because there's no apparent reason for this, the child usually gets labeled disobedient, lazy, stupid. If that disability is never identified, that child's future will be pretty bleak. By the time I reached 5th grade, I didn't have a snowball's chance in hell for success in school or life. No matter how hard I tried, I could not do what was expected of me. Early on, feelings of guilt and shame began taking root in me. My formal education basically ended at age 11. Around the same time, I started developing debilitating health problems. Along with the failures and the health problems, I started hearing this broken record coming from doctors. It's been playing for the last 19 years. It sounds like this. "This is the nature of your condition. There is no cure. Nobody knows why. These are your only options. You can't. No one can do that." They basically drew a line and said, "This is as far as you can ever go. Don't even bother trying to cross it." In my late teens, early 20s, things seemed to be improving. I thought my life was finally starting. But the reality was that the medical decisions I was making were setting me up for a decade of physical and emotional hell. Out of nowhere, my body became a war zone. I was getting hit from so many directions that it was impossible to tell what was happening. At one point, I developed a GI condition that caused constant, excruciating pain and left me bedridden for 2 years. During this time, my brain was damaged during a medical procedure. It's hard to understand brain damage if you've never experienced it. Imagine feeling nothing when you hug someone you love, not being able to enjoy a beautiful sunset, not being able to cry when a loved one dies, not being able to laugh, not talking to people because it's become too confusing, losing all of your skills and talents. In less than an hour, I lost all of these things and more. And as if it wasn't bad enough, the damage was never recognized or acknowledged by my doctors. The effects of the brain damage then became like my hidden disabilities, just another source of failure and shame that I did my best to hide. During these 10 years, I slowly started to believe the doctor's broken record. You can't. It's not possible. There's nothing that can be done. These words became my words. This became my worldview. No words can describe how physically and emotionally broken I was. All my dreams were gone. All my hope was gone. I couldn't explain what was wrong with me. I was more dependent than ever on others. I couldn't even do my own laundry anymore. After 13 years of fighting, I finally gave up on myself. The only logical step left for me was suicide. I never got around to it, though, you probably noticed. In 2008, I found God, and that pretty much blew my suicide plan out of the water. I no longer had the right to take my own life. So I came up with a new plan instead. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was going to try and fix my health and set up a foundation for my future so that down the road, if my health improved, there would be something there for me. For the next 5 years, I had an endless string of doctor's appointments and tests, 2 surgeries, a ton of research, hundreds of hours at the gym, and several games of Russian roulette with my health. I also started working on my foundation. A big piece of that was to finish my education. For this, I knew I'd need special testing accommodations, so I had an IQ test done. This showed something really interesting. I have no short-term memory. This is huge with mental abilities. This is like someone saying one of your legs is missing. This led to more testing that started to reveal that part of me that had been hidden from me my whole life. It had a name, and it was not my fault. After this, my whole world slowly started to change. I discovered that everything I was told, everything that I had come to believe was wrong. This is not the nature of my condition. I do have options. Yes, it is possible. Nobody can do that. Watch me. What I've learned is this. In the whole universe, there's not a question without an answer, a problem without a solution, or a disease without a cure. That just because you may never find your answer does not change the fact that it exists. I've learned that sometimes the hardest thing is not the circumstances that you face, but breaking free of the mindset of that's impossible. 5 years ago, I made plans to do the impossible. Today, my health is improving. I'm fixing my brain damage and dealing with my learning disabilities. In the fall, I'm going to college. And at this moment, I'm speaking at graduation, reading a speech that I wrote and organized, something that just 2 years ago I couldn't do. And I'm just getting started. My advice to you, you guys are messing me up. My advice to you cross that line that says this is as far as you can go, and ask yourself every day, what would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? Thank you.